Hey guys, what's going on? This is Xenox Gamer here, and today I got some Thresh first impressions. Played him about, I think, maybe 7 or 8 games or so. And I just want to throw out my thoughts about the champion, go over his abilities, some things that I found out while playing him, and that sort of thing. So let's jump right into this. So we'll go over his abilities really quickly. Even though many of you have probably seen the spotlight for him, there are some things that I want to highlight that isn't actually even explained in there. So we'll start with the passive. So the nice thing about this passive is that it shows you how many souls you have harvested, the bonus armor and ability power, and the value of the next soul. That's very important because it's not just a 1-to-1, so it's not, one soul equals 1 armor and 1 ability power. It actually degrades the more souls you get, so it takes more to actually gain that bonus armor and ability power. So that's something that you have to keep in mind as well. Souls aren't nearly worth as much they are later in the game as they are early on, which is nice because it gives you a big power boost if you focus on getting those souls a lot more than just staying back. So that's the passive. It's actually really unique, really interesting. I enjoy it. It's pretty cool. That's pretty much about it for the passive. So we'll go on to the Q. This is Death Sentence. This thing is absolutely amazing. Probably my favorite ability that he has. Deals 0 to 39 magic damage on each hit that builds up when not attacking. So it's based off 80% of his attack damage. That value goes up as well, so it does more and more the more attack damage you have as well, which is really nice. That's the passive on it, so you get that all the time. As you can see right here, this is Shackle. This is that bonus magic damage. So when this thing is red, it has a few different colors to it. If you've just used it, you won't have it. It'll be, I think it's like a blue-teal kind of color. And then when it's red, that means it's maxed, and your next attack is going to add 39 bonus magic damage. This scales with how many souls you have, and obviously your attack damage as well. So later in the game when you have about 100 souls or so, this thing's hitting for like, I think it's around 90 to 350-ish damage on your attack. Pretty cool. It's a bunch of extra damage there. But the main thing that's really cool about it is the grab. So it has 2 functions. It's basically like 3 abilities in one almost, or 3 things you can do with it. So it has that passive bonus damage. It also has that grab. So what it does is tosses out a thing basically like Blitzcrank's hook, tosses it out. It's quite long, as you can see, and it pulls people in, but it pulls them in kind of differently. It's not just a hey from you to me. It pulls them in a little bit and then a little bit more. But you can also reactivate the ability to pull yourself to that target, which is really cool because that just makes his engages really strong. It synergizes very well with his E and his ult, so you can do a lot of cool things with this. In lane, for the most part, I don't bother going in. I just hook them in and let my AD carry get some free harass. It's really cool. I'll have some gameplay to this. Just after that, we'll show some ganks, some team fighting, all that cool stuff, and we'll talk about that stuff a little bit later. Next is the W. It is a shield, it's a lantern, you toss it out, and people can click on it and it pulls them to you. It's basically it. Skills with AP. The shield is, it's alright. I mean, it's AoE, so you can shield everybody quite easily. It's really easy to hit. But the amount of things you can pull off with this, where if you throw it behind yourself and pull in a champion, you can actually initiate for somebody. So you can do a lot of cool things with that. As you've kind of noticed at level 1, I mean 18-second cooldown, 22-second cooldown, 9 seconds, and then 150 seconds. I mean, his cooldowns are really long. So there are some certain items that I'll go over a little bit later in the video that are going to help with this build overall and make Thresh a lot better. Because ultimately he is a utility machine. He doesn't really do much damage. His Q later on in the game does some decent damage, but for the most part, he's providing a lot of utility. He has great initiation. He has a lot of peel if you decide to sit on your AD carry. If you have a nice tanky front line with your jungle and your top or something like that, and you can just sit on your carry, you can provide a ridiculous amount of peel for that character. So that's the W, Dark Passage. Very nice, really cool. In lane, I usually end up maxing Q, only because I like getting those pulls. They're pretty easy to land for the most part, and that extra damage in lane is really nice. You can max the W for the shield if you really want to. I personally haven't done that yet, so I really don't see a use in maxing the shield. He's a really offensive character if you want to be. So I decided to max the Q, then follow on the W, then the E, obviously getting your ult whenever you can. Let's move on to Flay. This is a really sweet ability. How it works is completely different to a lot of things that have been in League of Legends. It does scale off magic damage, deals 65 base damage at level 1. Enemies hit are pushed in the direction of the swing, then slowed for 20% for 1.5 seconds. Now, this push-pull thing is a mini knock-up for the most part. It pushes them and kind of just throws them back a little bit. And it's really cool what you can do with this. So basically, if you can imagine just looking at the reticle here, if you have someone in front of you and someone behind you, and you cast this ability in front of Thresh, what's going to happen is the person in front of you is going to get pushed, the person behind you is going to get pulled towards you, and you can do the opposite. So the cool thing about this that synergizes very well with the Q is when you Q somebody in, if you don't pull yourself, you're going to pull them very close to you, and you can actually pull them even closer to you with Flay if you aim this behind you. So what you would end up doing is you'd Q somebody, they'd be pulling them in, and then if you aim Flay behind you, it's going to pull everything in front of you closer to you. So it's really cool. You can push people away with it. It's really easy to land. It's very short. It is based off of where he is, and that's one thing about Thresh's positioning is very key because as we talk about the alt and the E, they're both positioned from him. So having good positioning with Thresh is going to be very clutch. You're going to make a lot of things happen if you can get in a good position, especially for your alt. So this ability is really cool, synergizes very well. I maxed this last because it really doesn't do anything else. Other than that, it's a lot better in team fights later on in the game. So that's pretty much about it. Go on to the box. This is his alt. Creates a spectral prison walls or a spectral wall around himself. So that is something to definitely note. Is it you can't cast it anywhere other than where Thresh is standing. So that's why positioning is so key. Enemy champions who walk through a wall suffer 250 plus 0 magic damage, scales off ability power and does magic damage. Slowed for 99%, so it's not a stun, it's a slow, which means they can still attack, they can still react to that for 2 seconds, but break that wall. So each individual wall can be broken. It is really cool for shutting down things in the jungle, so if you look at like little areas like this or something, you can actually shut that down quite well with his alt. Once the wall is broken, remaining walls deal half damage and apply half the slow duration. An enemy cannot be affected by multiple walls, so it's something to note as well. Other than that, that's pretty much his abilities. They're really easy to use. Landing things like W behind you or allowing your AD carry to get into a better position or engaging with that is completely fantastic, but it also relies on your teammates to realize, hey, I gotta click the lantern, and that's about it. The other thing that I found out actually by playing him quite a bit is when you collect souls, you actually just walk over them and they absorb into them and that sort of thing. But with Dark Passage, you can actually toss this out on top of the souls and it'll collect them for you. So that's something that is really cool, which means that you don't have to actually put yourself in harm's way a lot of the time. If there's, 2 or 3 souls there, and you're having issues with gathering them, you can always just throw out your Dark Passage. Keep in mind, you're not going to get the shield from it if it doesn't land on champions. If someone clicks it, you will actually get the shield from it as well, which is pretty cool. So it has a lot of utility. As far as damage goes, he doesn't really do a lot of damage. His Q is the biggest source of that. His W really doesn't do anything, obviously, for damage. His E, not very fantastic. The biggest thing is his alt. It has a 1.0 AP ratio. Everything else is like a 0.4 or 0.5 or something like that, maybe. And seeing as how he only has 2 other abilities that do damage, he might work as a hybrid, possibly, if you do like an on-hit build or something like that, if you want to try that out. But I've been playing him support. He works very well. Landing Q, it's free harass, so it's pretty awesome. Other than that, we'll go into some gameplay. We'll talk about the build and some runes, masteries, and all that good stuff. And yeah. Alright, so we got some sweet gameplay. Actually, it's not really the greatest, but this is the first couple games that I played with him, trying him out, seeing how things work. What I will say is he's really fun. He's really good support. He has a butt ton of utility, so it's amazing some of the things you can do. And right now I'm laning with a Corki, and we're just trying to get a little bit of poke on every once in a while. You see how devastating he can actually be in lane when you do land that Q and that sort of thing. What I will say for Masteries runes and the build and all that kind of stuff is, if you did watch the spotlight that Riot has put out, that is actually the Masteries are really good. It gives you a lot of durability, gives you the things that you do want in the utility tree, because realistically going all the way down into some of these trees isn't always worth it for every champion. So if you do watch that, you can get a nice good glimpse of that stuff. As far as runes go, you can really use whatever you like. I like using, you can see the grab here right now. We got some really nice harass, landed that Q, got some good damage. I got some other clips as well, but I'll just keep going about the runes right now. Like using armor yellows, magic resist blues, armor quints as well. And that's just because I don't have the gold pretend quints. If you have those, I would definitely recommend using them. But as far as marks go, you can use things like attack speed if you really want, if you're going to be harassing a lot. They're not the most effective, but that's what I was using in these games, and it worked out decently well. The one thing I do want to note is right here, actually. I wait for Corki to kill all the minions so that Thresh takes a lot of minion damage. I land the Q, and it's a really easy kill. Thresh is amazing at kill stealing, by the way, with the extra bonus damage on his passive from his Q. So, I mean, you can basically steal as many kills as you like. Pretty much that's what I did. I think this game I went 7-0, actually. And, yeah, so as far as the marks, you can basically get whatever you want. Getting more armor is really good because you are going against the AD. Again, just with this, you can see how devastating he really can be with that grab. But yeah, other than that, as far as build goes, you do want a lot of cooldown reduction, so getting something like Locket, Shirelia's, and cooldown reduction boots is going to give you, I think it's 35% CDR, which is very strong. If you want to get that extra 6%, I mean, you can go for it with something like Zeke's or whatever you want to get. You will be wasting quite a bit of it, but at the same time, getting that CDR so you can get as many abilities in a team fight as possible off is going to greatly increase your peel and make your utility that much stronger. I do have to say that his laning phase is kind of boring until you actually do something. As you can see, this is just repeated ganks with the Q. He can set up kills just absolutely amazingly. That right there was a good example of how you should actually do stuff. I flayed behind myself this time. I actually learned that through the games instead of just pushing them away, because it was a really bad idea. If you flay behind yourself, as what I was talking about before with the Q into flay combination, it works very well. I pulled him in a little bit further, put up the blocks so that he was slowed by 99%, and it was an easy kill. Pretty much in all these clips, I end up kill stealing like a boss because I'm a scumbag, and I got greedy here, and well, I didn't really get greedy. I didn't actually mean to kill him, but I die for my efforts anyway. But yeah, other than that, I mean, there's really not much else to say about him. He's really cool. He's really fun. You can set up a lot of cool things with him. This is just one of the team fights that we had where we actually aced them and we didn't lose a single person, so it was really nice. I tried to stick on Twitch the entire time and land some of my abilities. Not the best team fight, but again, he just came out. He got released yesterday. Like, he's 7,800 IP right now, still 975 RP, so if you don't have him, I would definitely recommend picking him up. As far as the first impressions go, if he's worth getting, I would definitely say so, because he makes playing support really fun. You can engage for your team if you build a lot of HP, get really tanky, especially with his passive and stuff like that. You can do quite a bit with him. Alright, so final impressions of Thresh. He is probably one of the funnest supports I've played. He can do lots of things. He can engage, he can peel very well. He has a lot of cool interactions with his W, his lantern. His passive is very unique in the fact that you're collecting souls and that sort of thing. So he's definitely worth the buy in my opinion. He is going to be probably played a lot in the next couple weeks. But the one thing that I do like about him is that he adds a lot of, even though he is a utility champion, you can't play him as a mage. He's not meant to be played as a mage, even though you probably could. But he provides a lot of cool things that League hasn't had yet. Flay is very unique. His passive is definitely something different. the way the queue is interactions with champions and how you can change that interaction if you want to, and more importantly, the W. Being able to click something and pull an ally is amazing. It's just going to take a little bit of time for players to kind of realize what he can do and have that burned into their head where they can just like, oh, gotta click that, gotta click the light well, if you get the joke. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I will be putting out some more gameplay early next week, some Vi gameplay that I promised. That is coming. I just had a bunch of games with her last night, and I'm going to be putting some footage together. I'm going to be getting some more gameplay as well for different matchups and that sort of thing. What else is coming? Probably going to do a guide on positioning, because that is a big thing. I want to go over positioning for every role for the most part, or at least in general, not just for 80 carries or something like that. And I'm going to be doing a top 5 ways to improve. Now, it's not going to be a top 5 in a list of number 1 is the best, number 5 is the worst. It's dependent on each player and what you're good at and what you're bad at. Whatever you're not doing so well in, you can use that as your number 1 and go from there. But that is going to be coming probably next week, or at least it'll be finished next week, and then it'll be uploaded a little bit later. So you guys can look out for that. I do thank you for subscribing. Hit 100 subscribers. Very happy. Definitely woke up to that and was excited. Thank you, everybody. Again, if you like this, subscribe, please. If you like it, if you don't, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you find appropriate. Any comments, I do reply to pretty much 99% of them, so if you want to comment down below, I will definitely answer with something. Other than that, thank you very much, guys, for watching. I appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.